So this is what it looks like when you have a point guard that can shoot the basketball. What's going on, guys? Welcome into Clutch People TV. I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night as New York Knicks go on to destroy the Cleveland Cavaliers 119-83. This game was never close from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. We're playing high level intensity just the whole entire game of 48 minutes. And I got to give credit to Tom Thibodeau. Whenever we made a little mistake, we might have been up 40 points, 30 points. He didn't care. He would take someone out of the game, call a timeout, and make an adjustment. This man is never satisfied, and that's what New York Knicks fans want. We want coaches that are not satisfied. They're hard-nosed, they hold players accountable, and they want to win basketball games. We'll see how the development goes, but we're going to get into the starting lineup. All right, Emmanuel Quickley started in this basketball game. Reggie Bullock did, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. I'm going to be starting off with Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, I give him an A+ performance. Yes, you could say Andre Drummond was not playing in this basketball game, and maybe he would have struggled against him because he is a more physical center at the end of the day. But Mitchell Robinson was not in foul trouble. It doesn't matter who Mitchell Robinson is playing. He does those things that he gets into foul trouble up against anyone. And I thought he played smart fundamental defense. He knew when to play straight hands up fundamental defense. He knew when to swat at shots. I thought he played a tough game. He rebounded very well. I would like to see him use a pump fake at times to get to the charity stripe or free throw line. But please, add a mid-range shot before you add a three-point shot because you need to get better at your free throws. But I thought he played a good basketball game. He did a good job coming off of screens, rolling to the basket, showed off his athleticism. He was blocking shots like crazy. He was very efficient. Great game by Mitchell Robinson for sure. You deserve a round of applause for sure. I know I usually really hate on Mitchell Robinson because there's some things in this game he definitely needs to clean up. But I thought he had a good game no matter who was out there on the basketball floor. I know a lot of people aren't going to give us credit because Andre Drummond was not playing. Kevin Love was not playing this basketball game. You know, Kevin Porter Jr. is having those issues off the court. But it looks like the way Okoro's been playing in the preseason, even though he was not great today, he may be their starter. At the end of the day, he was a top 5 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. So Okoro's going to be a starter of theirs. Darius Garland is. Colin Sexton came back in this basketball game, and we absolutely shut him down offensively, even though he might have been rusty coming off of an injury. But Darius Garland, he hit some difficult shots. But I thought Mitchell Robinson had a good game. Julius Randle, I did not think he was bad either. I thought he had a solid basketball game in my opinion. He didn't really force a lot of stuff, but everyone was passing in transition but him. That's really the thing that really just gets on my nerves about Julius Randle. His first instinct is to score or just swipe through to try to draw a foul. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to this basketball team, you need to get out and run. And just he does get out and run, but he forces stuff. He doesn't make the greatest decisions. He still had a couple turnovers, but I thought he had a solid basketball game. We've literally seen worse than Julius Randle. And Julius Randle's not a terrible basketball player. It's just the role he's put in, the money's being paid, being a top option, so we have no choice but to start him. And I don't think Obi Toppin's shown anything spectacular to start him at the end of the day. Even though Obi Toppin is young and he's probably a part of our future, he needs to deserve those minutes, and there's nothing he's done that has been spectacular to really earn the starting gig for the New York Knicks, even though I know a lot of Knicks fans are going to hate me on that and I want Obi Toppin to start. But Julius Randle was solid tonight. He had good timely scoring, timely hooping by Julius Randle to end off the second quarter to head into halftime. Thought he was aggressive, sometimes too aggressive. We see that every night. But I thought he had a solid, productive game. Getting into RJ Barrett, probably the most underrated performance in my opinion. Everyone's going to look at Quickley, everyone's going to look at Kevin Knox, and everyone's going to look at Mitchell Robinson. I can't wait to get into Kevin Knox. RJ Barrett didn't miss a free throw. That's the positive part about RJ Barrett. He was 5 for 5 from the charity stripe, but there was one specific really nice move, working downhill, nice spin move, and he finished nicely with his left hand on the left side of the basket. I remember he did that against Boston, I believe, as well. He definitely is good at finishing at the basket. We want to see it at an efficient clip because he was not that efficient at the basket, but he got some difficult shots, easy shots, and you notice something with his game that he's definitely added a mid-range shot and he's letting the game come to him. Reggie Bullock, I thought he was much better than last game. He was entering a front rim contest. He actually knocked down some timely buckets. He shot the 3 well. Now, Immanuel freaking Quickley. I like Quickley. He's a good shooter, but I was like, this man's not a true point guard. But he showed out there that he's actually a point guard in the NBA, even though it is the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he still had a starting caliber point guard guarding him. You could say Colin Sexton is the best player on their team, or you could say Kevin Love. But Colin Sexton is a starting point guard at the end of the day in the NBA for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But if you did not know, Immanuel Quickley is listed as a point guard, but he played more off the ball at Kentucky, and Tyrese Maxey is listed as a shooting guard, but he really had the ball handling duties more than a guy like Immanuel Quickley. And we have not had a consistent scorer, a guy that can consistently put pressure on the defense, or at least run the offense properly. And in the first game, he did better than Dennis Smith Jr., just Alfred Payne combined running the offense. And I don't know if that's because there's less zone being played, because those guys aren't great shooters. So then he can really trick the defense for sure. Because if you recognize Julius Randle, when he's double teamed, they double team him because he has no one to kick it out to for an open three. And they really couldn't do that this game because Immanuel Quickley is a great shooter and he's really good at facilitating. The pick and rolls are going to be scary, or pick and pops, because you don't know if he's going to step back for a three, he's going to drive down the lane, use that floater, or dump it off to an Obi Toppin. But he definitely brings a threat to this offense, and we need shooting in this offense, and he's definitely going to take pressure off of other guys. But he did a good job facilitating. You saw that floater. He definitely has a herky-jerky style of play. He was getting to the free throw line, knocking them down. I believe he was 5 for 7, knocking down threes. He finished with 22 points. He also had like 5 or 6 steals. He was getting after it on defense. He hustles. He's a bulldog mentality. He's a true competitor. That's what you love about Immanuel Quickley. I'm not going to say he's our point guard of the future yet, but we should definitely start Immanuel Quickley. It's that simple. We need shooting in this lineup. We need defense. He provides both of those. And he's an underrated playmaker. He did a good job setting up guys like Obi Toppin, even though he didn't have a great game. Mitchell Robinson, he recognizes when the defense collapses on him to throw it near the rim where Mitchell Robinson thrives. And I thought he just had an amazing game, played with so much confidence. You just saw the range, the discipline he played with. He just played so smooth and just so confident. And you just love to see that out of him. Now getting into Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox was absolutely fantastic in this basketball game. He was 7 for 10. He was 6 for 7 from downtown. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, a plus-minus, a plus 22, and he had 20 points, 6 for 7 from downtown. And I don't care that he's playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. The big thing was Knox. Knock down your open 3 balls, and he did that. Shout out to Lethal Shooter. He might have been the reason Knox is knocking down those threes. At the end of the day, Kevin Knox is putting in the work, and he reached out to Lethal Shooter to get in that work. But Knox also had a nice backdoor cut to the basket, to throw it down. He did good moving without the basketball. The defense still needs work, but it's better than his first and second year. And Knox's shot looked fluid. It looked like he was in a rhythm. But at the end of the day, he was hitting open threes. I don't care what competition you're playing. He was on in this basketball game. Obi Toppin, I'm going to say the same thing. Obi Toppin, there was looks that I thought he should have been more aggressive. Sometimes he's too passive. He's a very underrated passer of the basketball. We found that out in the preseason. His defense needs work. We know he's a great athlete, but sometimes he passes up some shots. Sometimes he passes up some shots which we don't like, and we need to play this guy throughout his strengths more. I just don't get it when he's open in the paint, has a nice cut. Like, some players just don't recognize it. It seems like Quickley is literally the only one that recognizes that. But he did not have a great night. He had 6 points, 3 fouls, 2 turnovers. He was kind of careless with the basketball. 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 for 2 from the charity stripe, 2 for 5 from the field, and 0 for 1 from downtown. 27 minutes coming off the bench. I don't know if it's a rhythm thing, getting acclimated to the speed of the NBA still, but it's still the preseason. I'm not going to go crazy whatsoever. Ignis got some action, not much to talk about. Really didn't do anything. Miles Powell got some action. Obi had a nice pass, passing it down low. I think they've known each other for a very long time. Teo Pinson, he brought some good energy to the floor, even though he's not a part of the feature. Jared Harper, 10 points. He's a speedster. That man plays really hard. He's really fast. But pretty much the story of this game is Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, RJ, Quickley. All the young guys played efficient, good basketball. And that's all you asked for out of this preseason, to see what these young guys could do. And hopefully Quickley does go on to start, but we need consistency. Is he going to be the point guard of the future? We shall see. But he gets after on defense. He can shoot. So he fits today's NBA, and he could put pressure on the defense. And he's not afraid to penetrate, and he does a good job facilitating. But let me know down below your thoughts and analysis. First game is going to be next Wednesday up against the Indiana Pacers. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.